My name's Noreen Jessop, and I had 3 PKAN children, 2 girls and a boy, my firstborn Daron, and my twin girls Angie and Aubrey. As the twins got older, they started to do the same things as Daron did. The talking was slower, they didn't walk at the time points, they didn't crawl like normal kids. I took them in, I told the lady, I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with my children. None of them are walking. They had talked about this new disorder that was extremely rare. Everything I was telling her was lining up with this disorder. So she's like, I want to do blood tests on all the kids. I'll get on it as soon as they come through. So that day I went to outpatient services and got their blood work done. So I took my phone and I called her. She's like, I did your testing and all 3 of your children have this disease called PKAN. And PKAN is a disease that your kids may not live past the age of 10. And Daron was 9. And to know that your entire family now has this disease. And you had hopes and dreams of like being at their wedding. You had hopes and dreams of being at their first dance. And for Daron, I had hopes and dreams of him playing football. He was full throttle 24/7. If you took him near an off-road vehicle, he would scream until he got on that off-road vehicle. The twins, on the other hand, they were very cautious. They were very particular about who they gave a hug to, but they loved everybody. When Daron was 11 years old, his 11th year was a very, very hard year. He was sick and in the hospital almost the entire year. So the buildup on the brain creates pressure and it creates muscle spasms. And a lot of times the muscle spasms will get so bad that their body will fold in half backwards. I have so many videos and pictures of Daron, his head touching his feet backwards. And there was nothing I could do. Towards the end of Daron's life, I was laying on the couch with him in my arms and I heard him deliberately say, I love you, Mommy. And I wondered how he was able to say those words because he hadn't been talking to me for months. And in that moment, I knew that he was getting ready to make all of his connections and everybody know how much he loves him. He loved his sisters dearly. They were his whole world. A month or 2 before he passed, it was a Sunday morning, and I could feel this like solemn go over the whole living room, kitchen area. And I look in the kitchen, I see Daron on the floor with Aubrey, and he's got his arms like clear wrapped around her. And the 2 of them aren't making a peep, but they both have like tears streaming down their faces. And Aubrey's looking him dead in the eye, and she knew. He was telling her goodbye. About an hour later, I took Daron's hand and he was in my lap and he passed. One thing Daron's passing taught me is how important living in the moment is. All we really do have is the moment. The girls were so funny. They always had a language that was their own, like you would not have any idea what was going on, but they could look at each other from across the house. And the other one would come out of the toy room with a handful of purses and they'd put them on each other and then they'd play house. Like they'd stage all their stuffed animals and have tea. They were like normal kids their age. Their brains were there, but their bodies just, same with Daron, like all 3 of them, their bodies couldn't keep up, but they did all the same things that little girls would do. That same solemn feeling I felt with Daron the day that he was saying goodbye to Aubrey as I went in the living room and they're holding hands. Like they had rolled to each other and they're holding hands. And then I saw Angie put her hand on Aubrey's forehead like this. About a week later, Aubrey slept for 5 days, non-responsive. So I called her dad. Teachers came over, family came over. She waited for her favorite school teacher to get there, and she held Katie's hand and held my hand and had Angie right on her lap, and she passed really peacefully. But then a whole new journey for Angie began. She was the last one left, and now without her sister, she would cry and roll everywhere looking for her sister. Angie held on for one more weekend with her dad. Angie's favorite thing in the whole world was to sit on the back porch and watch the sunset. When Aubrey passed, probably an hour later, I went outside. And if you look at one side, there was a rainbow. If you looked at the other side, there was a fiery orange sunset. These kids are so special. I can't even begin to explain the impact they make on every person's life they meet. I have searched for purpose for far too long, and it still lies here. It still lies with the kids. There's still so much that can be done even though our children are gone. For so long, I sat and dreamt of my little boy running and playing. Why does that mean the other children can't? No parent's gonna stop. There's still so much hope because the progression of the studies. Why do I have to give up because they're gone? It's not over. There's much more.